We have President Trustee Swanson, Treasurer Eldridge, Trustee Newman, and Trustee Peterson, and Clerk Heather Jarrow. I see that Jimmy is logged in. He is just
Putting my tie on.
not live yet. So we're going to call the meeting to order in order to start on time on our first meeting. We have a Pledge of Allegiance and moment of silent prayer, but we really can't do that. However, I've talked to someone and we can do a Pledge of Allegiance another way. It sounds like we're going to continue to have Zoom meetings. So someone suggested a great idea, and we're going to try to implement that at the next meeting, which is we can have a flag and we can say it and we can stand at our, if we choose to. So the first item on the agenda is to call a public hearing to order. But before I do that, and I know there are some residents that might be on this Zoom call, but we found just a technicality in the petition process and we want to just verify it. We want to make sure we get it right. And it's better to do it right than to proceed. So if it's okay with the board, and I apologize, I just, this was just brought to our attention. So we would have said something sooner, and I'm definitely apologizing to the residents in advance, but we would like to adjourn it until we can just verify it and have another public hearing on this. Would that be acceptable to the board members?
I have no problem with that.
Yeah, that's fine.
I need word. I see nodding heads. Okay, so I do see that we have some residents in attendance that are on the Zoom call at this time. If they would like to say something, I see one, two, okay. I see Mr. Fry.
Yes, how you doing? How's everybody doing? Hello.
Good.
Hi, good.
Yeah, so I'm the one that pretty much, me and my aunt pretty much started the petition for the street lights. So
Did I allow him to speak, Lisa?
can everybody hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yep. So I'm just kind of relay the message back to everyone on the street, pretty much what's going on with the street lights. So because I kind of spearheaded it from the
Yes.
So they're all excited about it. Well, majority of ones that I spoke to are excited about getting the street lights. The only thing they're all right with it either way. They wanted to see could the township do a little bit, try to lower the parcels cost. But if not, everyone was still pretty much in agreement with it that I've spoken with. But so I just a long story short, I know you said it's a technical issue, so I just want to get some information to give back to them of like what's the next step or what was the technical.
Yeah, and once we can verify it's very important, and we appreciate, well, the Fry family, been in the community for a long time, but we want to make sure it's technically correct. So if it's challenged because it's taxation, Mr. Fry, we want to make sure it's right. And I really apologize for this, but it was just brought to our attention. I need the assessing department to verify the parcels that are in it because it started out differently than what it is now.
Okay.
And we just want to do it right. And I appreciate your patience.
Oh yeah, no problem at all. Yep, no problem. I appreciate you all getting it. I mean, Ms. Rose, she got it done and helped me along the way as far as communicating swiftly. So I do appreciate everyone just helping me out, get it. Do the petitions and everything. So we're patient.
Thank you, and we'll get it right.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you all. I appreciate you all.
Thank you.
All you all do. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much. And are there any other residents who are in the district regarding the special assessment? I see a Mr. Alex Thomas.
Yes, but I'm just here for the public comment, not that particular issue.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. I see another hand raised. That's Miss Toure, Toure.
Yeah.
We are here because we receive a notice for the street lights.
You do support it or you do not?
We do.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, well, we apologize again, and we'll, as soon as we can verify it, we will put it right back on the agenda, and a notice will be sent out to everybody.
Okay.
Thank you for
Thank
calling
you.
in, we appreciate it.
Yep, no problem.
So if we could have a motion to adjourn the public hearing?
So moved, Eldridge.
Support Wilson.
Motion Eldridge, support Wilson to adjourn. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, it's unanimous. The motion is approved. At this time, we can have public comments. If people would like to give their name and address for the record or identify that they are a township resident, we'd appreciate it. If not, it's not technically required. The limit is 3 minutes, and you can also speak on any agenda item on the board as well. Mr. Alex Thomas.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I welcome everyone, especially our new trustees. It's nice to see you guys in person and moving around. I've just seen you in media, and also our returning trustees. I know everybody on the board loves Ypsilanti Township, and in so many meetings working in the community, you know, I feel like it's like, where's the Ypsi Township folks? So to be in a Zoom with people that sincerely care about our township is a pleasure. And you know, season's greetings and good to see everyone. The reason I called in is because I had a Zoom last night with some township residents, and I was happy to see County Commissioner Justin Hodge joined, and also local community advocate Trisha Duckworth. The three main issues we discussed were housing, COVID relief, going where the areas it needs to be, and lastly, law enforcement reform. Housing in M Live, fourth most popular story last year was the title was Modern Day Segregation in Ypsilanti Township. Talked about housing vouchers being congregated in my West Willow neighborhood. COVID relief. If you go to our health department's website, 48197, 48198, off the charts. We led most of the year. When the students came back, the university opened up. The students helped do super spreaders. Numbers in 48104 skyrocketed past ours. We need Ypsi Township government engagement more so with our health department. I'm on a Community Voices and Health Equity team. I've been talking for a year about how that data for COVID is by zip code. I'm in West Willow. My zip code is 48198, the same as the most affluent areas of Superior Township. 48197 numbers are awful. That's south side of Ypsilanti, and also the most affluent parts of Ypsi Township are 48197. So we don't have accurate health data, and we have that issue in mental health, also law enforcement. The last issue, I said it was housing, COVID money going where it needs to go, where areas are most impacted. Last issue, law enforcement reform. This year, nationwide, we've had a recognition that we need we have to address criminal justice differently. We have our contract with the Sheriff's Department. I'll close shortly. $160,000 a deputy. We can look at, there's community organizations that address mental health, address children arrested, address addiction, and separating that from the law enforcement responsibilities that we do. We need to step up. It's 2020. We can't have the same type of township government that we've had since World War II. It's a new era. There's evolution across the country. Everything that I talked about is in the Democratic Party platform. If you'll go to it, home ownership, everyone, safe housing for everyone, law enforcement reform, racial justice, equity. And as I close, you know, I grew up in this area, and I've had a function for the Stumbo name, Lovejoy Road name. Brenda, I've talked to 3 independent people that said that you've called Jerry Clayton and asked for more ticketing in Ypsi Township. And again, that's 3 independent sources. I'd love to hear an answer if that's true. 14B District Court, 86% of its funding is from ticketing and fines. That's disproportionate to more of the affluent areas around. So I hope it isn't, but I'd like an answer as a resident. And thank you if I went over my time. Good to
Yep.
see everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you. Let's
You're
have a great
welcome.
future.
Thank you for the public comments, and I'll follow up, but I'm not sure who you're talking to, Alex. But I do know that speeding is the #1 issue and complaint in Ypsilanti Township. So when residents call, like on former meetings, they've attended meetings on our Zoom and asked for speed enforcement. I do follow up on that. So hopefully that answers your question.
Am I still here?
No,
Can you hear me?
no, it's not back and forth. But I
Okay.
just wanted to tell you, Alex, but that's what I do. So, and that's a process that we have in Ypsilanti Township, you know, in any community when they call in. So I thank you, and I'm going to go on to the next person, Alex, and those other issues are very important to us as well. The next is MW.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, hi. Hi, this is Monica.
Monica.
First of all, hi. First of all, welcome to the new board. I'm glad to see the new trustees and some in the new positions. I am actually making a public comment in regards to something that was read at the last meeting because I was not able to attend. And that was in regards to conflicts of interest and ethics policy.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that I did ask is for the new board to obviously draft, discuss, and adopt a conflict of interest and ethics policy for Ypsilanti Township government. There's many reasons why this needs to be done, but one thing for sure is that I've learned is that in the last election, there was a lot of people, a lot of individuals that actually was working in that election that was relatives of other people that was either in the election or processing the election. That's one of the reasons why we need a conflict of interest policy. Ypsilanti Township should be a model going forward as it relates to these two issues. Whatever may have been in the past should not be the mandate for the future. And to do that, these are things that are needed in Ypsilanti Township. So I would hope that the new board, and I know that is some great people on here, would look forward into making that draft and bringing it to the public, doing a debate, and then adopting these policies. I would definitely appreciate it, and I'm sure a lot of our residents would also.
Yep.
Thank you very much for allowing me for my comment.
Nice to hear from you, Monica. And
Thank you.
We agree. So we got to make it happen. Next is Mark Brink. Mark, are you on the? No, let me go to the next person. Mark?
Oh, there we go.
All right.
Yeah, my property's at 1024 West Michigan Avenue. It's not on Lather Street. I didn't know if this was the forum to discuss, being withdrawn from the special assessment.
We adjourned the public hearing, but we'll take your comments, absolutely. So your property's 1024 West Michigan Avenue?
Right, yeah.
And you object, is that?
Yeah, personally for my property, I'm all for streetlights. I don't know that much about that street, but if you guys think they need it, that would be great. Yeah, my concern is that I'm not affected by it. Okay.
Thank you so much for taking the time to express your concerns. And if you could follow up with the email to the clerk's office, that would be helpful to have it on file.
Okay. Oh, to Heather Gerald Rowe. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you for attending.
Yeah. Thank you.
Next is Myla Harris.
Are you there?
Yes, we are.
Okay, sorry.
Mm.
My name is Mila Harris. I am the Vice President of Ask Me Local 3451, and I'm also a township employee for 27 years. I just wanted to congratulate the re-election of our township supervisor, Brenda Stumbo, and the re-election of trustee Jimmy Wilson. And I would also like to congratulate our new township clerk, Heather Gerald Rowe, and also the new township trustees, trustee Debbie Swanson, trustee John Newman, and trustee Gloria Peterson, and also congratulate our new township treasurer. I look forward to working with you guys, and hopefully we do have our contract negotiations coming up hopefully soon in any capacity, and I'm just excited to see what the future brings. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Myla. Much appreciated. So does that conclude all the public comments? I think I got everyone. Thank you, everyone. The next item is a consent agenda, which is the minutes of the November 17th, 2020 regular meeting and statements and checks for December 1st, 2020. A motion would be in order.
So moved. Gerald Rowe.
Support.
Eldridge.
Yes, sorry.
That's okay. We have a, especially on Zoom, it helps the person doing the minutes when we give our name. Are there any questions or comments on the minutes or on the statements and check? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carries unanimously. The next item is the attorney report. Is there any general legal update, Mr. Winters?
Good evening, Madam Chair, and good evening to all the new board members and everyone in new positions. Spent a lot of time the last few weeks sending out a lot of letters, but I don't think all the trustees have actually had a chance to look at the letters that will provide a lot of background information and update. It's always been my position that all 7 board members should be provided with all the information, especially on matters that pertain to the public health, safety, and welfare, and grant dollars, et cetera. So you, when you get your computers all set up and activated, there's going to probably be a couple dozen letters or better that have been sent out. So I'll definitely be expecting maybe to hear some questions on some of the items. I would like to at least highlight, not repeat what I've already said in the letters, but just highlight some of the ongoing infrastructure projects that are going on this year, or will be going on into 2021. That loom feather grant that the township received is nearly a $600,000 grant. We're paying 50% of that match. And talking with Mike Hoffmeister today, they're proceeding very diligently in trying to develop an RFP that's going to improve a number of amenities on site, restrooms, the shelter, the gatehouse, make sure the pathways are ADA compliant. And I bring that up as the first item because the township has spent a lot of time and money in the last number of years trying to make sure that we have a great deal of recreational opportunity for all of our citizens and residents. We have a great success story in what's going on at the skate park. Everything I've read about that, that's probably one of the most heavily utilized amenities the township has seen. And we thought it was going to be that way from the very beginning, but I think the reviews I've been reading and the anecdotal stories, it may have actually gone beyond even our expectations. We have another project that's going to be pretty high priority, and that is the Huron Street Connecting Community Pathway Project. This is going to provide a pathway on the Whitaker Road corridor, Huron Street corridor, that's going to eventually allow people to safely access the shopping center, the grocery store, obviously, the bus stop, the YMCA. When it comes to the township, this will provide access. We're working on obtaining easements from the post office and Bethesda Bible Church and other stakeholders to make sure that this becomes a high priority project in 2021. And again, this is done to improve the pedestrian walkability as well as a connectivity to that part of the township as well. As was mentioned by Ms. Harris, the township is also going to be engaged in negotiations with our labor unions, AFSCME, and even Teamsters. And so we're somewhat at a disadvantage with this Zoom and the COVID right now, but we've been in contact with the representatives of those unions and have expressed some, exchanged some information in moving forward with what the 2021 contract is going to probably have to address. I also wanted to mention that the township just was notified, I believe, that we received a MDNR grant, the Michigan Department of Natural Resources. And I know Mr. Hoffmeister is very excited about that because that includes a grant for the community center tennis courts. And that's also going to allow the township to redevelop those tennis courts into a mixed use of pickleball as well as tennis. And that grant is about $176,000. So there's a lot of moving parts of trying to improve our recreational opportunities throughout the township. I think the YMCA is critical for the township. We know that it addresses a lot of the issues for the preschool, the youth, as well as the people not so young that can take advantage of a lot of programs offered by the YMCA. And we still believe that that's going to be a reality once we get this vaccine distributed and everybody can get past the COVID-19 pandemic. The one issue I would like to at least highlight, because I was hoping this letter might have made it to all of you, but I know it did not. But this coming Friday, I know that myself and Stan Eldridge, the treasurer, and Mike Razik, the OCS director, as well as Travis McDougall and Mr. Hoffmeister are going to be meeting to at least try and make sure that we're on the same page when it comes to developing what we think should be the best RFP possible in regards to the courtroom security as well as the security here at the township. In the letter that was sent out, I spent a great deal of time going over the Supreme Court recommendations in regards to their recommendation that we have a single point entry for both the courthouse and for the Township Civic Center. And the reason why that's very important is that the Supreme Court has issued an order 20 years ago that you cannot bring weapons into into any court facility for pretty obvious reasons. At the same time, that does not extend to other municipal buildings. And the best evidence of that was the article I sent the board and the picture that it stands alone, which shows, I think, about 9 individuals this past April 30th standing on the second floor of the state capitol with military assault weapons. And the article emphasized that while the protesters were not allowed to bring in protest signs in regards to their position they were taking, they were allowed to bring in these military assault weapons in a picture that was, quite frankly, seen around the world. I heard from people that I've not seen in 30 years wanting to know what was going on in Michigan when that picture was displayed. And I think once you see the picture, you may recall exactly what I'm talking about. But the point I'm leading up to is that by having a single point entry, the ban that currently exists in the 14B court can also be incorporated into this Township Civic Center. Over the years, there's been many discussions with members of the ASME and Teamsters, as well as township officials, about weapons being brought into the Civic Center. We're also looking at increasing the security protection on the first floor and second floor offices, some of which have come to light during the COVID-19, as to how to better make sure that all of the township employees are secure and protected. So in this RFP, we're trying to at least develop it in a way that will attract some of the more experienced and seasoned architects who have dealt primarily in courthouse security as well as municipal security, and make sure we get this right. We don't want to be in a position where we find ourselves being reactive to something that happens, as opposed to taking a proactive step. And I believe this single point entry that ensures that anyone coming into the Township Civic Center in the 14B District Court has gone through the appropriate screening. That is an essential, that's just almost a prerequisite, I believe, in trying to move forward in ensuring the public health and safety, especially for all the persons who come into the Township Civic Center to do business. I'm not sure as to what this will look like in terms of the cost, but at the same time, I believe that the board also will be of the mindset that it's something that we can't afford not to do. And again, I think that it came to light for many of us when we saw those pictures of what occurred at the state capitol. And so I do know that Treasurer Eldridge has spent many years in law enforcement, wants to be involved in this RFP, and Mike Radzik, who is our OSC director, has spent a good number of years in law enforcement, have a lot to add to this conversation. I think Mike might even be able to answer or weigh in on this issue tonight as to the amount of weapons that the 14B court has seized over the years in terms of knives, brass knuckles, etc. So we're at a point right now where that the rubber meets the road, I guess, that we have to now make this a priority. I think that the board is willing to make the priority. The last before the last board meeting or so, there was a proposal to consider hiring an architect. We could not come to terms, and in reviewing his credentials in terms of what we need here right now, we just kind of feel right now the best thing to do is to do a more extensive RFP that will make sure everybody is going through the township and the 14B court with a mandatory walkthrough, and that we get input from a number of other people besides that committee to make sure that we have no weak spots or no blind spots in this security system, because I think it's that critical and that important to have this issue addressed at the beginning of this year.
Okay.
I know I'm not calling on Mike, but I did see Mike's face come on the Zoom, and he might have more information than what I have in regards to the courtroom security and the township security issues that I think are high priority for all of us.
Michael?
Good evening. Sorry, let me cut that. Is that better?
Wow.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can. Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. I've been with the township now for almost 19 years. And as Doug mentioned, that followed 21, almost 22 years with the Sheriff's Department. I can tell you over the years, the Civic Center portion, business portion of the facility, it's a beautiful building, but it was built in the early 70s. In fact, many visitors ask us how long they thought it was recently built because of the design. I think was way ahead of its time back in the early 70s. But as you know, we have this very open floor plan, and there is literally no barrier or obstacle that would stop any visitor from entering the work area where the employees are. And I think over the years, I've had many conversations with a lot of the employees, and there is a level of concern, great concern among some, not so much with others, but concern for their own personal safety should someone that is armed come into the Civic Center proper. Many of us participated in the training that the Sheriff's Department did, I think it was about a year ago, regarding active shooters. Should there ever be an active shooter in the building, to try and help the employees learn what to do and what not to do. And what we learned was that literally there was no place to hide, and very few, if any, exits immediately available to the employees without entering into the public lobby area to try to get out where the actual threat would be. And so for all those reasons, I wholeheartedly endorse putting in the time and effort and spending the money to get a high-level architect to work with, who is be experienced in this type of thing. As well as on the court side, I did assist Magistrate Nelson when the State Court Administrator's Office sent their security expert down to do an audit, safety audit for the court and for the judge. That person happened to be a retired state police lieutenant that I was acquainted from back in my undercover days with LawNet. And suffice to say, there are a lot of security needs that have to be addressed. And I do think if we combine those entrances so that the Civic Center portion of the facility was considered part of the court, and then under the Supreme Court guidelines, we could prohibit the entrance of weapons. That would be a plus, not only for the employees, but for the citizens who come in, members of the public, so that they're also safer when they're in the building doing business. And on the court side, my only observations would be, I've spoken with almost every one of the bailiffs that have worked for the judge and magistrate over the years. You may or may not know, they are civilians. They're unarmed civilians. They're not police officers or court security officers. And if a offender is in court and gets remanded into custody unexpectedly by the judge or magistrate, that unarmed civilian bailiff is the one taking them back there. And if they make a run for the door, they just run for the door and nobody goes after them. And I was shown on several different occasions over the years, the cardboard boxes full of weapons that were confiscated from people, and Stan can, I'm sure, attest to this, that were remanded into custody and walked into the courtroom with knives, buck knives, switchblades, brass knuckles, all kinds of weapons, personal weapons that are easily concealed. And although there's signs up saying you can't bring those things into the court, there's nobody checking them. There's no metal detectors, and there's no security whatsoever. And so you can just imagine how many times a firearm may have been secreted into the courtroom and we never knew about it. And the court also needs some architectural review, because you have, it was built again many, many years ago, decades ago, and you've got victims and alleged offenders sitting commingling on benches together in the hallway. And especially in domestic assault situations, it can be a very volatile situation. So for all those reasons, I asked to be a part of this review as well, to work with Mike Hoffmeister and the court and Doug, because I have a vested interest in seeing some improvements be made.
Thank you. Any
Madam
other?
Chair,
Yes.
I'm
Trustee-
sorry, I don't
Yes.
see the hand risen signal down there, but I wanted to thank Attorney Doug Winters for all the email updates, very informative. I had a chance to read them all today, and I think it was very helpful to the new board members. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Peterson. And we look forward to moving the safety and security plan forward. It's a big issue. It's with COVID, you know, if there's any time to try to do something, now might be a good time to do any renovations or whatnot, but we need a professional, I agree. I look forward to seeing it. Thank you, Mr. Winters. Any other comments?
Madam Chair,
Yes, I'm sorry.
Trustee Swanson has a question, I think.
That's what I was going to say. Thanks.
Yeah.
Trustee Swanson.
I was just wondering, it could be I'm not familiar with the people who are involved, but when the committee meets, will there be representation from the court?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, I meant to mention Mark Nelson is going to be there, and I
Yeah.
talked with him. He's also conveyed the letters to Judge-elect Elaine Washington, so that she could also be kept up to speed in regards to what's going on, because it's important with her coming in, it should be part of the team in terms of reviewing the RFP. So I meant to mention Mark, I'm sorry, I neglected.
That's just, I was thinking that would be really important that we'd have somebody from the court there.
Yeah,
Thank
he'd
you.
actually helped lead it. Thank you. Good question. Mila, I see your hand is raised. Mila?
Hi.
Hi.
Okay. Hi. I just
We can't hear you at all, Mila.
had a few, maybe look into maybe in the future. I do a.
I'm sorry,
there?
Mila, the connection's bad.
Okay, are you there?
Yeah, we're here.
Okay, sorry, I thought I unmuted it. Okay, I just wanted to make a suggestion, maybe going forward. It doesn't have to possibly be something that the township board can look into, but I do agree with Mike Radzick in regards to the active shooting training, where we did find that it was almost impossible to have any hiding places or any type of significant protection, I guess I would say, because everyone was rushing to that most significant place. But is it something that the township can possibly look into, where even just on the court side, I guess, to start maybe, that our bailiffs, sometimes I believe that the majority of them are retired law enforcement officers, and can the township, and I think it may be in some other courts, that they are allowed to carry, so that the employees and the residents are protected. I know that in some courts that is allowed, and I just wanted to kind of see if the township is possibly interested in adopting something where the bailiffs, like I said, I know the majority of them are or have had some type of law enforcement background, if that's something that can be maybe addressed, not maybe now or but possibly in the future, to waive that.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion. They have to be deputized by the sheriff in the past, and I know that the safety, the security, the court security plan needs to include that as a possibility, but it has to be deputized by the sheriff. So that's what's prevented it in the past, and they don't want to just deputize anyone. So it's much, it's not as easy as I thought it was going to be either, Mila, but that's a good suggestion. And all of this will be brought back to the board after the committee, and we can have a work session on it as well.
Okay, thank you so much.
Excellent point. Thank you. All right, Mr. Winters, are you finished with your general legal update?
Yes.
Thank you. Under new business, we have the request to approve amendment to the subaward of federal financial assistance with Washtenaw County for the community center flooring project.
So moved, Eldridge.
Support Wilson.
We have a motion, Eldridge, support by Gerald Rowe. Mr. Hoffmeister.
Good evening. Thank you, Madam Supervisor, and good evening to the board and the new board members. Welcome. This explanation that I'll give now regarding new business agenda item 1 will also relate directly to agenda item number 2. As you know, we've been out to bid for the community center flooring project and finally received a bid after the 3rd attempt. The bid did come back well under budget, which basically freed up approximately $70,000 in CDBG funding that was not currently allocated. The next 2 agenda items relate to a realignment of funds for both the community center flooring project as well as the Schooner Cove bus stop project. Basically, those funds will now go to cover construction services by Spicer Group for community center flooring. And then as it relates directly to Schooner Cove, those funds will now go in order to cover construction engineering services for OHM, as well as the previously approved $22,000 of funding the township was going to spend to complete that project. So great news that we got the bid for community center, as well as freeing up some funding so the township has less skin in the game.
Awesome. Are there questions by any trustees or board members? Any from the public? And we're going to authorize the signature of the clerk and supervisor. We have a motion and a support. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, unanimous vote. Great job, Mike. Number two, Mike briefly touched upon is request to approve the amendment to the sub-award of federal financial assistance with Washoe County for the Schooner Cove bus stop. A motion would be in order.
So moved, Gerald Rowe.
Support Wilson.
We have a motion by Gerald Rose, support by Gloria Peterson. Discussion? Michael, you kind of covered it. We're finally going to get this completed this year. This is another it was like the community center. We've been working on it for probably 3 years, maybe 4. Stan and Heather and Jimmy. It's
About 3, yeah.
I know 3 for sure, yeah. So it's good to keep moving it forward, and getting additional dollars is always a blessing. We have a motion and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. The motion passes unanimously. Number 3 is the resolution 2020-34, which is a 2021 boards and commissions appointments and reappointments. I had discussed we have a alternative. It's an alternate for the ZBA, and Mr. Edward Burnett, who is a former park commissioner, has requested to be appointed in that position. So I've spoken to Clerk Rowe and to Treasurer Eldridge, and if it's okay with the board, we'd like to add his name to this appointment and commission. If there's no objection, Heather, would you, Clerk Rowe, would you read the resolution, please?
Yeah, here I have resolution number 2020-34. This is the board and commissions appointments and reappointments. For the Board of Review, I have Brenda Craven with an expiration date of 12/31/2022. I have Marcia Lathian, an expiration date of 12/31/2022, and Morley Stevenson of 12, and also expires on 12/31/2022. We have the Civil Service Commission, who is Hazelette Robinson, and her term will expire on 12/31/2022. We have the Construction Board of Appeals, which will be Jesse Foley, 12/31/2022, and Alan McComb of 12/31/2022. We have the Huron River Watershed Council, and that is our trustee Jimmy Wilson, and his expiration date is 11/20/2024. We have the Local Development Finance Authority, or the LDFA. We have Giovanna Neal serving on that until 12/31/2022. Of our Planning Commission is Sally Ritchie. Her expiration date is 12/31/2023. Bill Sinkle, 12/31/2023. There's a lot of twos here. And Mr. Madaslar Tuwalk of 12/31/2023. Ypsilanti Community Utilities Authority, we have our lovely trustee Gloria Peterson of 12/31/2023. Our Zoning Board of Appeals, we have trustee Jimmy Wilson with an expiration of 12/31/2023. Mr. Edward Burnett, which will be our alternate that we just discussed, of 12/31/2023. And our appointments below our authority building, we'll have Treasurer Stan Eldridge with an expiration date of 12/31/2026, and Giovanna Neal of 12/31/2026. We have our Construction Board of Appeals. This is Thomas Denny, expiration 12/31/2022, and Will Freeman, 12/31/2022. Our election board, our trustees John P. Newman II with an expiration date of 11/20/2024. Clerk Heather Jo Rowe, 11/20/2024, and trustee Debbie Swanson, 11/20/2024. We have our Planning Commission, that will be former Treasurer Larry Doe of 12/31/2023, our Police and Firefighters Retirement Board, Stan Eldridge with no expiration date. They'll stay on there until further notice. And we have Southeast Michigan Council of Governments, which is also known as SEMCOG. We have Clerk Heather Jill Rowe, 11/20/2024, and our new Park Commissioner Brad O'Connor is our delegate, and that's 11/20/2024. We have our Washtenaw Regional Recycling Management Authority, the WRRMA, and that is going to be Mike Hoffmeister as our alternate. His expiration date is at the pleasure of the board. We have our Washtenaw Urban Executive Committee and Homestead Conservatorium Board, and that is our Supervisor Brenda Stumbo with an expiration date of 11/20/2024. We have our Weed Commissioner, and that will be Tom Greenwood. His expiration is 12/31/2022, and the Zoning Board of Appeals is Garrett Sternberg, and that is 12/31/2023. I so move the resolution.
Support Eldridge.
We have a motion by Clerk Gerald Rowe, support by Treasurer Eldridge. Discussion? Hearing none? Seeing no hands? All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries unanimously. Number 4 is budget amendment number 15. Clerk Gerald Rowe.
All right, I have budget amendment number 15 here. I would move to increase the general fund budget by $11,208 to $10,412, or sorry, excuse me, it's my first time reading it on Zoom. I've practiced, trust me. So 11,208 to 10 $412,149 to approve the department line items as outlined. And these are mostly, this one here is particularly for retirement payouts. We have moved to increase the fire fund budget by $56,126 to $6,637,251. As stated in the line items. Again, this is for a retirement payout. Move to increase the BSNR 2 fund budget by $152,200 to $2,571,287 to approve the department line changes as outlined. And this is mostly due to our community center flooring that we discussed earlier in the meeting. And move to increase our 14B district court fund budget by $2,790 to $1,784,211. And this is mostly for PTO buybacks. And move to increase the hydro station budget by $20,000 to $585,586. This is to help our hydro station continue to comply with some things and have a consultant come in. And then we will move to increase the compost fund budget by $5,901 to $954,758 and to approve that as outlined. And those again are for PTO buybacks. I would so move the budget amendment.
Is there support?
Support Wilson.
Motion by Clerk Gerald Rowe, supported by Trustee Wilson Jr. to approve the budget amendments. Are there questions or comments? Excellent job for your first time, Heather. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. The next item is just a discussion item, and I see that Michael Sarin, who is our hydro dam operator, as well as our safety coordinator, and he is going to discuss the owner's dam safety program audit report, which is nothing but great news because we have great people taking care of our hydro dam. Michael?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And members of the board, welcome. And the audit report has just kind of every few years brings us back to just share with everybody that are we doing what we're supposed to help meet those guidelines through the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission as an owner and operator of a hydroelectric dam. So that program has many components to it. So as the auditor has laid out in the report, he reviewed all those components and talked about owner's dam safety program in general, the surveillance plans, the emergency preparedness, and all its members and how we're doing training. So all of those components brought together gave us a good report. In those conversations, some recommendations of keep up the good work, and also to do more communications, especially for those who may have missed the some awesome meetings. So did you guys hear me okay?
We can't hear you. Or am I the only one?
No, I was able to hear him.
You were?
Yeah.
He was breaking up.
There we go. I'm so sorry, but I know the reports in the packet.
I'm on my hotspot on my phone. Well, I'm out in the boondocks, so my hotspot doesn't always work. Right. So it's hit and miss. So if I apologize for the choppiness.
That's okay.
So,
if people have questions.
So I guess yep.
Yes, Trustee Swanson.
So first I wanted to say congratulations. It was exciting to read the report. And the question that I have is, I know with the recommendations, you talked about the recommendations, what's our process to move those recommendations forward? How does
so I interpret this audit report as more of a, normally I have a annual memo that goes out to members. We'll have a meeting about the general umbrella of responsibilities. Not every time we get everybody in the same room, and a lot of times I ask for their team members to send in a substitute so they can learn a little bit about it. So I think my approach moving into the new year would be start off with a year in review, and then a year of ongoing stuff that we'll be doing for 2021, and then periodically have a status meeting with those core members to see where we're standing, where we're going, has anything changed, or action projects that are currently going or planned moving forward. So I think what we'll end up doing is adding probably 2 or 3 meetings throughout the year to keep all those members in the loop. So we talk about a lot of things about the dam safety program that may not directly relate to program safety, but it's how certain aspects relate to the overall umbrella of dam safety. So it gets complicated. You know, some people get awed by the amount of regulatory compliance that we have. So we have a lot of similarities when it comes to nuclear as to hydroelectric. So, you know, the Hoover Dam has the same rating as we have, high hazard. So we do a lot of the same stuff they do, but maybe not on the exact same scale. So, but over the 20 years, the program has been added a lot of new components. You know, a lot of environmental and in wildlife. So there's it's not the same industry anymore. You know, and a lot of our things that we have to do is we have to look at what has been going on throughout the country, what's happened in California. We take all those events and we have to think, are we doing everything as an owner and operator to help mitigate some of these concerns? Are we prepared? So that's our big drive. We watch what goes on in the industry. So.
Thank you, Michael. And because of COVID, we haven't had the opportunity, but if you haven't been through our hydro dam, I mean, Henry Ford built it. It's an amazing, well-kept, well-ran hydro dam that produces electricity, you know, that we sell. So I don't know what we would do without you, Mike. I know we have a new full-time employee that's been working about a year now. That's, you know, you have to get ready for possible changes, but you do an amazing job for us, and everyone that walks into it talks about how clean it is, and that's so important. And I mean, there's people who've lived here almost all their life, has never been in there. So I hope to make that as part of the, opportunity for people to see the hydro dam. It's awesome. So thank you. Any other questions on the report? So there's no action needed on that. We can do board member updates if there are any. Normally we would do these in a work session, but it's hard to. Does anyone have any board member updates? It's our first meeting. I would like to just share that the 3 full-time officials have met twice, and it's been a pretty good start. The first day we were didn't have any power here for a while, but other than that, we're back up and running and trying to make sure we're on the same page and rowing in the same direction and really working together as a team. We also, I had a meeting today with newly elected Justin Hodges, County Commissioner. It was a great meeting. He is so committed to the YMCA and to some of the things that our resident Alex Thomas brought up as well. So I feel really good about meeting with him, and I'm very excited. Also had a conversation today with Commissioner Ricky Jefferson, the YMCA director, and Greg Dill. Because of COVID, we haven't moved, and the township did their part. And we reestablished a resolution to a firm commitment to the future site of a YMCA that is much more than a YMCA. It's going to offer so much more and help our residents. And like Alex stated, the health of our community is at risk. So we need to give our residents the opportunity to have things that are in other communities that we don't have. And the schools are not the same anymore. Nothing's really rooted, and you can't have a community. I think the YMCA is going to provide the education Mr. Winters talked about, which from, early childhood education will help level the playing field in our area of the county, so that our kids will do really, really well by the time they get into kindergarten, 1st and 2nd grade. So, and it's connecting the community with the resources. It's not just a recreation facility, which is important. Recreation is very important, and the opportunity to exercise and have good health, but to have conversations and assistance and a place where our kids and we can gather and say, yeah, that's our why, and have pride in it. So we got to make it a reality. We got to push. And I had to apologize a little bit. I might have been pushing a little too hard in a phone conversation we had this afternoon, but it's really important. And everyone says they're on board, and I believe it, but actions speak louder than words. So we need to get our feasibility study started. Once we have that, that will help, really start and lay out the future of the YMCA, have more community engagement, and to get the commitment from the county recreation, and to get the commitment. Ypsilanti Township did their part, we're a partner in it, and gave the land because it was so important to have it. So we just need to keep pushing, and I'm just asking that everyone help with that. Everyone on the call, everyone that's elected anywhere, employees, we just got to keep pushing because we have to make it happen. And I was excited about the meeting today to get the commitment for the funding for the feasibility study and to have that move forward. It's supposed to be by the end of this year, 12/31, and I'm going to trust them, and they're going to start the process on the feasibility in 2021 in January. So I wanted to share that with the board. Does someone have their hand raised? Heather?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, to just echo what Supervisor Stembo said, and we're so excited to just move forward together as a board. It's such an honor to be here and to be serving as your clerk. And I know that myself and Treasurer Eldridge and Supervisor Stembo are just looking forward to working together and moving everything forward in the next 4 years for our residents and to get the YMCA. We're going to get that. So, and if any of the new trustees have questions or like want to come in, we're always happy to, walk you through things. And obviously I'm still learning myself. So there's a learning curve, and we're just so excited that you're all here, and look forward to getting to know you better over the years.
Yes. Trustees, welcome for your first meeting. I hope it went well.
Thank you.
We look forward to the next one. I'm excited to serve with each and every one of you and to do good things for the community together. So with that, an adjournment would be in order.
So move.
Support Eldridge.
There's a motion by Gerald Rowe, support by Eldridge to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.